Biggest winners and losers from week 1 of the NFL season. Next on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Welcome to FFT in 5. I'm Chris Towers. I'm here with Adam Azer. And before we get to the biggest winners and losers, unfortunately, we had a serious injury on Sunday. J.K. Dobbins likely done for the season with a ruptured Achilles. This is the second season-ending injury he suffered in his 4 years in the NFL. It's just especially bad timing for him because it really seemed like he was set for a breakout season. I think he had played 80% of the snaps in the first half, had a 20% target share. Like, he was getting the work that we were hoping he was going to be. And Adam, I get it. We're going to be adding Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. Who do you prefer in that backfield? And do you really think either of them has RB2 upside?
So Gus Edwards, I think I prefer Gus Edwards.
Yeah.
He barely played until the injury, and then he got 8 carries, including a 2-point conversion. Justice Hill was involved near the goal line, but no, I don't. I think this is going to be like another Devontae Freeman situation, Latavius Murray. Gus Edwards, though, I mean, has been a much better rusher than those guys. I mean, Gus Edwards is a 5 yards per carry guy, so what he doesn't do ever is catch the ball.
Yeah, that's the problem. So I looked it up. He had 11 games with 15 or more carries in his career. He's averaged 87 rushing yards per game in those games. Despite that, he's only averaging 12.6 PPR points per game in the 11 games where he has 15 plus carries in his career. It's just he's even if he gets a 15 carry role, which I don't think he would. I think they'll probably add Melvin Gordon from the practice squad or one of the Leonard Fournette or Kareem Hunt remaining free agents. Even if he gets that, I think you're still hoping for a touchdown every week.
Yep. Yeah, you are. It's unfortunate. I just don't think they're going to have a great running game, and hopefully it benefits the passing game. And I like Zay Flowers, who was electric today. But
he was terrific.
They're not the number one waiver wire priority. It's not even close.
No, not at all. I would say Gus Edwards is the number 3 running back on waivers. I would go Kenneth Gainwell and then Kyron Williams, but I think you could flip Gainwell and Williams. Really like the way Williams was used. It was basically, he was kind of the lead rusher until the fourth quarter. It was 11 carries heading into the fourth quarter for him, 10 for Cam Akers. Now, obviously, he's going to get all the passing downs. Who would you rather have between Gainwell, Williams, and Gus Edwards?
I would say Gainwell. I mean, there was no split. He was the only guy.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's going to continue. I'm not ready to start him necessarily in week 2 that way, but he's a must-add, must-roster guy. Rashad Penny, a healthy scratch, and DeAndre Swift getting 3 touches in the game, 2 touches, whatever it was. So I would say Gainwell. It's interesting. Do they just bench Cam Akers? He had such a great finish last year. I think there's still a split. It's a terrible day for Cam Akers, but fantasy value. But I don't think Kyron Williams is a must start or anything like that. Gainwell, Williams, Gus for me.
You know who is my top priority for the waiver wire? I wrote about it on the week 2 early waiver wire column. You can find it in the Fantasy Football Today newsletter. Find it on CBSSports.com. I am all in on Puka Nacua. I didn't have a lot go right for me in week 1. We were touting Isaiah Likely pretty hard in the pregame show. That didn't go well. But Puka Nacua, 15 targets, 10 catches, 119 yards. And honestly, it could have been an even better game. He had 2 drops. He had 1 that could have been a touchdown, but Matthew Stafford just overthrew him. I thought, there was a lot of talk in Rams camp about how much they liked him. His after the catch abilities in college were really impressive, even though he slipped in the draft, not a great athlete. It just felt like if anyone was going to be a Cooper Kupp replacement, it would be him. And with Matthew Stafford at QB, defenses are always going to have to respect the deep ball. It's going to give Puka Nacua a lot of room underneath. He's not going to catch 10 passes every week. He's not Cooper Kupp, but he's the biggest winner in week 1. I think he deserves to be rostered pretty much everywhere after this kind of showing. Adam, who's a big winner for you? And if you want to add anything about Puka Nacua, please add to the Puka Nacua love. Don't say anything negative.
I just think it's a tough call. I think you definitely take him over Gus Edwards. I don't know, not over Gainwell on the waiver wire. And then it's pretty much very close between Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua. If I knew when Cooper Kupp was coming back, that might help inform my decision. But there are a lot of winners. I'll go with Ken Walker in that same game.
Sure.
Now, the Seahawks were just horrible. They had the ball for fewer than 21 minutes in this game. They got crushed at home by the Rams, and they were favored by 4.5 points. But he was not sharing with Zach Charbonnet. Now, they didn't have a short yardage goal line situation, so I don't know what that would be. But I believe very strongly in the talent of Ken Walker. And if he's going to have, 75% of the carries, then I think he's going to have a really big year.
Let's pivot over to the losers, the negative side. And I'm going to focus on Rachaad White. I think there are a handful of options. Christian Kirk looks like a big loser coming out of this week, 64% snap share. I'm going to focus on Rachaad White, who got the work that we were hoping for. I mean, 17 of 24 running back carries for the Buccaneers in a game that they actually won, surprisingly. The problem was, according to NFL Next Gen stats, he was negative 38 yards over expected. That's kind of a weird stat, but it would have been tied for the fourth worst showing in the entire 2022 season by running back. This was my concern with Rachaad White, was that, yes, he might open the season as the RB1 for the Buccaneers. Is he good enough to hang on to that job? Or was this like a Mike Davis in Carolina type of situation? Or no, Mike Davis in Atlanta kind of situation where, hey, he's got no competition for touches. Does that matter if he's not good? That's my worry with Rachaad White.
Oh, he's the most likely to be Myles Gaskin and Mike Davis.
That's the other one. Yeah.
Bad start for him. Loser for me would be, I was going to say Dallas Goedert, but he'll be fine. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Falcons passing game. 18 pass attempts. Everyone but Algier, because Bijan obviously had a really good game, but you don't want to rely on him making a ridiculous play to score a receiving.
Only 10 carries.
And he didn't get the goal line work. And Algier got in twice, and that sucks. And they won, and that sucks too.
Well, I will point out Algier's second touchdown. I think he got them. Robinson got them down to the 4 with a 21-yard run, and then he came out. It might have just been hey, he was gassed in a different situation. He'd be there, but Arthur Smith, everything about it for fantasy is concerning.
Yeah. I know. 18 pass attempts is really bad. Yeah. London with the goose egg and Pitts with may as well have been. I know he had a long catch. So I'm on red alert there. And honestly, I don't know. You got to look at, are they going to have to throw more? They're not going to want to. Mm-hmm. I can't say that Drake London or Kyle Pitts is a must start at this point.
I think Kyle Pitts might be, because he's a tight end who can hit a big play. But yeah, I've been skeptical of London. He's been a wide receiver 3 for me since the draft season. And I have to imagine he'll be ranked in my top 36. I haven't done it yet, but he won't be high. He'll be close to 36 at best for me for week 2. And yeah, it's concerning for Atlanta that didn't really change when we hoped it would. So that wasn't great. And that's going to do it for FFT and 5. We'll be back tomorrow with a full breakdown of week 2's waiver wire. We'll see you then.